The National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, is pushing to downgrade Metro Manila to GCQ status this month, citing the economic disadvantages of MECQ. OCTA Research Fellow Professor Guido David is with us over the phone to talk about that some more. Guido, is this proposal worth looking into considering our current COVID situation, considering our numbers?
Hi, good afternoon, Sean. This is worth looking into. We understand that the economy has, let's say, suffered a great deal, especially during the lockdown that we had recently. But having said that, I mean, I believe it's premature to decide one way or the other. The good news is that the NCR is still seeing a decrease in numbers, but we won't know the full effects of MEC flex until maybe after about 1 week at least, because there's a delay between the time of implementation and the time that we see the full effects. Right now, we're still seeing effects of the previous MECQ. So I believe that it's too early to say either way right now if the trend is going to be sustained. That if it's if we are ready for a downgrade to GCQ by May 15th.
All right. Well, now that you mention it, that downward trend, it is continuing, and that is very, very good to hear. But has the situation in hospitals improved somewhat?
Well, the hospital occupancy has actually improved, and they have scaled up hospital facilities, hospital beds. What's worrying is that we're seeing an increase in the number of ICU occupancy, even after we have increased ICU capacity. So right now we have 850 ICU beds occupied, and that's actually the highest it's ever been. So it means that even though we're on a downward trend and things are improving, the ICU bed occupancy is actually increased, and this is something worth looking into. We're actually looking at the data, to determine why the ICU admissions have not subsided yet, even though the number of cases has started to drop.
And has the data told you anything thus far about why ICU occupancy is up despite overall hospital occupancy being on the downside?
Well, it probably means that there's significant length of stay for ICU occupants, and that the trend, even though it's already trending downward in NCR, there is still a significant number of cases, and a percentage of these cases will require ICU admissions. It might be attributed to the variants. I mean, that's a possibility. We're definitely looking into that.
All right. And on the matter of vaccines, the president finally got his jab. In your opinion, would this help curb vaccine hesitancy among the population?
I believe it should. Of course, there's still probably a division in the population. Those who would want to get vaccinated and those who have hesitancy. But I believe that this is an important day for the Philippines, for the president to get vaccinated. I believe people have been waiting for this, and finally it came to fruition.
Right, but there's a matter of his getting vaccinated with Sinopharm. This is contradictory to what health officials are saying, to just get any jab that is available. But he, of course, got to pick the brand of his jab. Do you think this will cause issues moving forward?
Well, anything the president does will probably will cause an issue to certain groups of people. Me personally, I believe that, his doctors recommended that he take this brand, and I take the doctor's word that is what he will need. Anyway, the president has, he's not very young anymore, so we have to consider the comorbidity issues or, factors. And I don't really have a problem personally with the president being able to choose his own brand.
All right, what about with the proposal of vaccine czar Charlie Galvez's to just prioritize high-risk areas instead for vaccination as we face delays with the delivery of other vaccines?
Oh, yes, Sean. We've actually been advocating this strategy even during the early part of the year. I believe even as early as January or February, we have already been pushing for NCR to be prioritized. But this became a bigger issue ever since we had the surge in the NCR. If there was no surge, then the urgency was not there. But right now, we really have a sense of urgency because we want the economy to recover as quickly as possible, and that will require vaccinations. And if we wait to get 70% for the entire country, that may take until next year or even until 2023, and that may be too long. And there are some areas in the Philippines which are really not high risk. They haven't really had any major outbreak, and if they did, they were able to control it. So we actually wrote a paper about this. It's a strategy for vaccination that prioritizes high-risk areas. And those low-risk areas are not highly prioritized. They will receive vaccines, but in relatively smaller quantities.
All right, very interesting. Thanks as usual for your time and your insights. OCTA Research Fellow, Guido David, thank you.